What's up, Grapperinos, and welcome to another exciting episode of Probably Next Week on Smackdown. I'm Bryon, and also in the show, just another equally disgruntled R-Truth fan. Mike, say hi, Mike.
Hello. It's currently 90 degrees out, and R-Truth has been fired from WWE. This is as worst as my life is going to get.
Well,
Fortunately.
it's gonna get worse because now you're gonna have to adjust to a WWE without R-Truth, which is not that great. But regardless, it's kind of a shocking announcement to see R-Truth just be like, hey, I'm retiring. Honestly, I thought when I was reading it, I thought his account was like hacked or he was joking or something.
I thought it was a work at first, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't. and
And then the dirt sheet started confirming it, and I was like, oh damn, it's not a work. Shit.
yeah, not that great.
Did you see that some of the other people on the roster blanked out their Twitter profiles in protest?
Yeah, I think the Miz did. Was it
And Gunther.
and Gunther?
Yes.
And people were speculating that they might be next.
Yeah, I thought the Miz was next, and I was like, damn, that'd be kind of crazy that they would let both of them go, especially the Miz, since he's a great ambassador. But once Gunther did it, I was like, oh, so it's probably not that, because there's no way they're letting go of Gunther. That's not happening.
I don't think so.
They're not that stupid.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's happening. But
Well,
if they did
some
let
rumors
go,
that they're gonna get rid of Trips, though.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I've seen some rumors that they want to get rid of Trips, and I'm like,
who would?
they're
Oh
gonna
my
bring in
God.
some stupid like Hollywood fucking guy, like The Rock, probably.
Hell
Like
yeah.
the head honcho. And man, like for all the shit that I give Trips, at least I know he has respect for the decorum. The Rock stopped caring a long time ago.
It's okay. The Rock will write himself in as the protagonist, and everyone's a heel except for The Rock, and The Rock's gonna win every match.
Maybe we should just give Rock the benefit of the doubt. Let's just see what he does, you know?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't think they're gonna get rid of Trips, honestly. I think he's too valuable, at least in terms of what gives them money to do these events and such. I mean, for God's sakes, he's brought back Saturday Night's Main Event, and he's basically revitalized the company with the focus on storytelling and long term kind of stuff like that. I know that he has his faults, and definitely we're in the coolest part of his era, but I still think I would rather have this instead of whatever Vince had in 2019 and such. But that's just me. So, anyway, we are gonna go over the go home show for Money in the Bank and how we would book it. And we are going to do it according to these rules. We can only use active superstars on their respective rosters, meaning we can only use people from SmackDown. Although, because this is Money in the Bank, and we have Raw and SmackDown people on each show, we're probably going to have to disregard the first rule. So, there you go. Non-active wrestlers can only be used within the realm of possibility. Although, you have people like Goldberg who's thinking about trying to get back, and he posted something about having an injury or he has a tendency to like injure himself, so he's not sure whether or not he'll do a return match. But you get what we mean with the second rule. Our booking includes announced matches for the next episode of SmackDown with our predictions, and our booking can use any valid stipulation for any match aside from any matches that are announced. And after we announce our bookings and our predictions for the next episode, we are going to watch the next episode of SmackDown, and we are going to base our points on our bookings based on the following scoring system. State of the art. Matches, we got 1 point for the persons competing in the match, 1 point for who wins and how, and 1 point per stipulation. Promos, half a point for each person coming out, and 1 point if that person comes out at the right segment, and 1 point for the topic that is being talked about by each person. We got 1 point for the correct order of segments throughout the show from beginning to end. Anything announced after the video is released counts, and of course, backstage segments do not count. And that's about it. That's how it works. So without further ado, let's get to the scores from last week. And I think I only got 3 points. Mike got a
this
substantial.
Is the inverse of Raw. Yes. Yeah. I fucking cooked in the beginning of the show. I just want to tell you what I had. So I had Bianca coming out about Naomi attacking her from behind, Jade Cargill coming out for the save. That happens. And I said it would bleed into the next match, which was the Money in the Bank qualifier between Jade, Naomi, and Nia Jax, which did happen. But I didn't have the ending right. I said Nia Jax would win, but Naomi ended up winning via a roll up. So, but for a little bit there, I was cooking.
You were, yeah.
Yeah. Then it fell apart per usual. So,
yeah, for some reason, I put more effort into it. I still kind of phoned it in, but I kind of put more effort, and still that did not translate. And I'm gonna say this right now. For this episode, I am not gonna win. I'm not gonna have a lot of points with this, because I put some stuff on here that's probably not gonna happen, but we shall see. And yeah, you're probably gonna get most of the points here, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Announced matches. Well, we only got one, because I guess they like to keep it secret for the go-home show for Money in the Bank. We only got a, 6-woman tag team match between Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Stephanie Vaquer, as they take on Naomi, Roxanne Perez, and Julia. Without further ado, let's book this thing, starting off with my version of the show. And I am going to lose because I put an R-Truth promo is the first segment. That's right. I am that disgruntled. So, we are going to have R-Truth come out to a applause and a bunch of fans screaming at the lungs for R-Truth to come back. And you know how in Money in the Bank last year, we had Cena come out and say that, he's retiring. This is going to be his last year and that stuff. Well, I'm going to have R-Truth do the exact same thing. He's going to come out and say, guys, I'm retiring. I am going to be out of WWE soon. And I am going to have a bunch of matches that will lead to my last match. And after that, I'm out of here. Goodbye. And that will set up the R-Truth farewell tour. Kind of similar to the John Cena farewell tour. Only this time, instead of John Cena appearing, twice a month, R-Truth is going to appear once a week to do a bunch of segments, do a bunch of matches with a bunch of mid-carders or whoever he wants. And we're just going to do that. And I know that, there's some real stuff surrounding it regarding his Twitter or something like that. But we can have, little Jimmy do that instead of him. So, yeah. I already know I'm losing because this is not going to happen. If it does happen, though, I would be very happy. But I don't think they will.
If it does happen the next episode, I will commend you for your psychic booking.
They could also do it at Money in the Bank, since it's 1 year after the Money in the Bank where John Cena announced that he would retire. So that would be nice, or it would be better. But if it was a Smackdown, I'm just saying, could be really cool. Next, now you really know I'm gonna lose because I have a tag team gauntlet match for the number 1 contendership for the tag team championships. Yup. So we are gonna have all the tag teams, and we're gonna have all of them just compete in this gauntlet match, and we're gonna have Wyatt Six win, and they're gonna challenge Street Profits for the tag team championships. Why not? And the rest of the teams can do their little mid-card angle. We're gonna have, for example, Legado del Fantasma. We are still building up their sort of story of I don't know, breaking up or coming back after the victory from last week. Just coming so close, and then, you know, stuff happens and they're right back to square one. Stuff like that, I suppose. We're going to have little stories here and there, but we're going to have Wyatt 6 win here because they're hot and they're going to challenge Street Profits for the Tag Team Championships. Maybe next week, maybe the week after that. But who knows? And that is what I will say about that. Moving on to Zelina Vega versus Piper Niven, because last week we had Zelina Vega versus Alba Fire. This week we're going to have Zelina Vega versus Piper Niven, and we're going to have Zelina Vega win by pinfall. And after the match, we're going to have a Secret Harvest beatdown, which will culminate in yet another match between Zelina Vega and Chelsea Green, probably with some stipulation. I don't really know, but it's probably going to happen.
They fought each other at one point, right?
They fought each other twice.
No, Zelina Vega and Piper Niven. I'm pretty sure they fought.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was gonna book them, but then I was like, didn't they already fight each other? I thought they did, but
I don't know.
Could be wrong.
Road Dogg won't remember that. I'll just put them on.
That's true.
But yeah, there you go. And we're gonna move on to JC Mateo versus Damon Priest because of what happened last week. And we're gonna have JC Mateo win by pinfall. Damien Priest can take a pinfall. Why not? And we're gonna have a beatdown with Solo Sikoa and the rest of the folks on Damien Priest after the match is over. And that's it. That's all I will say about that. Next is the announced tag team match, and we're gonna have it end in a DQ, and everyone brawls after the match. That's right. I'm gonna have neither side win, and they're just gonna brawl. We could have the heels cause a DQ finish or something like that, and that's when everyone brawls. I don't know. Don't care. Don't care. It's just your standard. Can they coexist? Probably not. Kind of deal for Money in the Bank. Blah blah blah. Who cares? So whatever. And finally, we're gonna wrap up with Cody Rhodes. He is gonna come out to the ring and tell us about Money in the Bank, his match between John Cena and Logan Paul and Jey Uso. And he says that he and Jey will win, and says that, John Cena is a phony, he's not a real champion because I am, and I'm gonna show it at Money in the Bank. And then we're gonna have John Cena come out, and then they brawl. And then we're probably gonna have Jey Uso and Logan Paul come out, even though they're from Raw. Oh well. We're gonna have a brawl, and we're gonna have the heels come out on top. And that's that. That is the show. I already know I'm gonna lose with this booking, so
mine's probably worse, honestly, but I like, I don't know. The go home shows are hard to book because it's very much like they're say obviously saving talent for the tomorrow, and you kind of have to work with in that context of like, well, I can't book this person because they're going to be fighting a ladder match tomorrow, so I have to like try to work them in somehow. So it's much harder to predict than a regular show. Like, right. It's actually the easiest is probably to predict a Fallout, like right after, like the Raw after the PLE. That's the easiest because you just kind of see what happened on the PLE and then be like, okay, well, here's what's going to happen then. The go home is like one of the hardest, in my opinion, because you really do not know what they're going to do.
Can you believe that 3 weeks after this is going to be the Saudi show, and then 2 weeks after that is Saturday Night's main event? And then 3 weeks after that is probably going to be SummerSlam.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Packed schedule, man. Packed schedule.
Yeah. Gotta make money. Gotta make lots of money. But regardless, any questions about my booking? As terrible as it is.
Are you like? Were you being? Did you write the R-Truth angle before or after you realized that you got fired?
It's after.
After. Okay, I respect that.
Come on, the fans want it.
It would be a nice swerve. It would be a nice swerve. Yeah, it would be a nice swerve, honestly. But I can imagine Truth being like, well, you fired me already, so well, and they didn't actually let him go. They're just not renewing his contract, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's still under contract. All right. So
Yeah.
never mind.
So
Like, if
it
they actually
could.
just outright released him, he would demand a shit ton of money to come back. But
What if what if Nick Aldis tells him that, you know, you've had the time of your life here and you've served this company for a long time, now it's time for you to go. And R-Truth is like, give me $1 and I'll be back. Just bring me $1 and I will I will come back.
I can see him showing up in TNA. I can see him showing up in TNA probably.
Yeah.
I don't think he goes to AEW. That would be very weird.
Oh, the stuff that they will put on him when he goes to AEW?
That'd be very weird, man. That'd be super duper weird. I think he goes to TNA though. I think that'll be good for him.
Yeah. What else was I gonna say about R-Truth retiring? Oh yeah, so for the last match, he's going to make it a loser leaves WWE match, and he's gonna lose. So I mean, it kind of adds to his like comedic character. Like he has a bit of an amnesia or something like that, or he doesn't know that he announced his retirement or something like that. So he's gonna announce like a loser leaves WWE match, and that'll be his last match. So I'm just saying they could do a lot with an R-Truth sort of retirement angle before they let him actually go. But there we go. Anything else? Or should we go to your part? All right.
My card now.
All right, let's go to your card. Starting off with.
Okay, starting off with Naomi, I think we have basically the same thing that I predicted for Rob, which didn't happen. Well, actually, kind of almost happened, but not really. Naomi comes out. She, it's the same old thing where everybody comes out and they're like, I'm going to win this because I said so. This is why I'm going to win, and that's what I'm going to do when I win the thing. And this leads into the 6-person tag match between Naomi, Roxanne, Julia, and yeah. I just realized I didn't tell you who was going to win this one, and I just realized I didn't decide. So here we go. I'm gonna say Rhea Ripley's team wins this one. Why? Because I don't know. I'm just guessing. This was announced. I think
this was announced today,
like an hour before we were gonna do this thing. So it's been like kind of. Nick Aldis needs to really just fucking announce this shit on like an actual platform and not just go on Blue Sky and be like, "Oi, you know what we're gonna do? This," and then we have to go and scramble to be like, "Why did you announce this an hour before we're gonna go live? What the fuck?"
Yeah, nature of the beast, I guess. All right.
So here's where my card starts to fall apart immediately. And I apologize for making you try to find a PNG of one of these competitors because I don't think I've had him on my card before. Yeah. So this happened last week. We had Javon Evans and Ray Phoenix go up against, I believe it was Legado del Fantasma, I think. Yes. So 3 of these men, actually all 4 of these men, I believe, are in a 4-way tomorrow at Worlds Collide, I believe. Or 3 of them. I know Javon Evans, Ray Phoenix, and Ethan Page are.
I think so, yeah.
So I think you get them booked in a tag team match tonight because it's like a preview of what's going to happen tomorrow, and they'd love to do that shit. So there you go.
Bowie, how creative.
I think Ray Phoenix and Javon Evans win this. So I don't watch NXT, so I don't know who's going to win the fucking North American, Canadian, Saskatchewan hardcore title, but
New Mexico.
Good luck to them, I guess.
Yeah. All right. I got nothing. Moving on.
Okay, Aleister Black versus The Miz. This is another step in the feud that these two have supposedly been building. If you've been watching, Aleister Black has quite often kicked the shit out of The Miz. And I think The Miz is like, listen, buddy, I want to fight Aleister Black because he's been kicking the shit out of me. And Nick Aldis says, well, you know what? Yeah, I don't have anyone else tonight, so go ahead. And I think Aleister Black needs a win because he lost the Money in the Bank fight. And The Miz is a premium jobber, so this works out. Yes, I think he wins. I think he wins via pinfall.
Didn't they fight before? Didn't they fight before?
No, I think it was just him and Carmelo Hayes.
I'm pretty sure they fought before and it ended in a DQ.
Even better. That's why they're gonna fight again.
Oh man. Okay. Great. I don't know where this feud is going, by the way. Like, where is Aleister? If you're gonna put Aleister Black in a return feud against The Miz and Carmelo Hayes, then Jesus Christ, Road Dogg, what the hell is wrong with you? But whatever. Moving on.
All right, we have basically a repeat of the first segment, but with the men. Why? Because I'm uncreative as fuck. LA Knight comes out, says he's winning Money in the Bank because, you know, he's Law Knight.
Yeah.
You know, etc., etc. All the men come out. They start a brawl. Yada yada. They get separated by security. A couple of security people die as per tradition, and yeah, you can tell I have pretty much mailed this card in.
I mean, there's there's 90% possibility that it'll happen. So
they love to do this spot where they have all the people come out and be like, "I'm gonna win it because I want to be the champion." And I'm like, "Yeah, you and everyone else in this ring."
Yeah, they have a brawl, and then someone gets a ladder to get up, and then get a briefcase, and says, "I'm gonna win the Money in the Bank tomorrow." Yep.
And they all point at the suitcase. They all point at it together.
Yeah, yell at the suitcase.
They're forming Captain Planet.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably gonna happen, and that's that.
Yep.
Moving on.
Okay, so here's what I think happens. So I think JC Mateo and Solo Sikoa, because Jacob Fatu has basically left them. If you remember last week, I believe it was Jimmy that got into it with JC Mateo or Solo. But what happens here is they basically book, wait, I'm trying to remember my notes. What happened last week? Fuck. Oh my god.
This is prime Road Dogg behavior right here. Oh, you didn't know?
I did not know. I need to figure out what the results were of last week.
This is content. Also, it's kind of weird that you would have Randy Orton here, considering Randy Orton kind of lost.
Yes.
At Backlash.
I see that. I see that. Yes, I see that. And the reason I was going to have Randy Orton come back. Come on, search engine. Please work. Why are you giving me it from September 13th? I mean the one from literally like 6 days ago, bro.
Is this are you trying to use ChatGPT?
Jesus. Yeah, I remember when ChatGPT told us that like Money in the Bank was going to feature like Cody Rhodes or Solo Sikoa for the tag team titles, and also remember I sent you a screenshot of the Smackdown card because I went and looked to see if there were any matches booked, and Google AI and that Giovanni Vinci was going to return. And I was like, thanks, Google. Very cool. Oh my god.
Oh Jesus.
I was like, yo, let's go.
You know, somehow still more creative than what Road Dogg comes up with. Still creative. But yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So what happens was JC Mateo fought R-Truth last week in apparently his retirement match, which was really weird. So Jimmy Uso made the save last week on R-Truth to save him from being killed by the Bloodline Wolfpack. And what's going to happen this week is Solo is going to be like, hey, listen, we booked a fight, me and Discount Jacob Fatu over here against you, and you need a partner, Jimmy Uso's like, all right, I see what you're about, Us, and I'm going to get someone. And, he goes, yeah, maybe have another backstage type of being like, hey, him making a call to someone. And this is Randy Orton's return. Randy Orton comes out and they fuck shit up and they win. And then after winning, Randy Orton RKOs Jimmy for good measure and leaves because that's him.
Yeah,
that's Randall. It's Randall Keith Orton.
So you're gonna put him in the bloodline, not bloodline kind of storyline instead of him being, I guess, at the main event level with Cody and Cena and the like.
This is just his return. Okay. I think that Jimmy calls him, comes back. That's why I have him RKO Jimmy afterwards, because he still hates the bloodline. So,
right.
And I think this is a way to bring him back into the fold. I think he'll be like upper mid card for a little bit while Cody and Cena have their second feud. Maybe he gets pulled into War Games if they do that again, or it gets pulled into Survivor Series. So, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I have no other questions, so we're gonna move on to this. Whoa.
All right. We have a tag team title match, triple threat. So, why are Pretty Deadly and the Wyatt Six and DIY not here? Pretty Deadly, unfortunately, are the jobbers of this division, so they're not going to make any attempt at titles. Unfortunately, their entrance song is kind of a bop, though. DIY, I think, gets denied because they've been dicks, but I'm going to get into that in a minute. And the Wyatt Six, I'll get into that in a minute. So, what happens here is DIY comes down to be, the shitheads that they are. And much like last week, what happens is the lights go dark. The Wyatt Six interfere on this tag team championship match, and they basically kill everyone. Everyone's dead, and they run off with the titles.
Oh. Okay. So you would still build up towards Street Profits versus Wyatt Six. But
Yes.
This time it's sort of a different way. Okay, I see.
The reason I think they run off for the titles is because it then gives the Street Profits a chance to turn face potentially, because you have DIY turning heel, you have the Legados del Fantasma are obviously heel. You have, I guess, Chris Sabin and Motor City Machine Guns are kind of tweeners, I would say. Probably.
They're more face. Yeah. They're more face than heel, honestly.
Really? Okay, all right. And Pretty Deadly is, I think, tweener too, right?
Who?
Pretty Deadly?
Oh, they're heels. They're prime heels.
They're full heels?
Yeah.
Okay. Shows what I know. It's 90 degrees.
That's what happens. That is what happens when you have two tag teams that don't have any personality. You're just confused. So are they like the good guys? Or are they like the bad guys or something? I don't know. All I know is that they don't speak like themselves. So, yeah. Okay.
Then we finally end this. Oh, do you have any questions about my
no
so far?
No, I got nothing. No, this is sensible.
Right. So I think we have a Cody Rhodes, John Cena face to face. Cody again comes out and says, "Listen, John, I know who you are, John." Right. And he says that I saw something in you. I think the old John is in there. John. and he tells him to stop trying to ruin wrestling because Cody wants to make it better, all that nice fun and jazz. Cena doesn't say shit. Cena just kind of stands there, acts like he's going to talk, doesn't talk. And Cody's like, all right, you know what? You don't want to talk. That's fine. I'm going to leave. As soon as he leaves, Cena attacks him. Jay shows up, saves Cena from getting hit with one of the 5 moves of Doom. They get the advantage, but then Logan Paul attacks Jay from behind, and Cena and Logan Paul regain the advantage and end up on top. So, much like your ending.
Yeah, kind of the same. Kind of the same. Nothing much here. I don't know where.
On El Grande Americano winning the Money in the Bank qualifier, by the way, on Monday.
Hell yeah, that's my boy right there. That's my boy. I told you. He cannot be denied. He will be pushed to the moon. I'm glad that they're pushing up and coming superstars like El Grande Americano and giving him what he deserves. Truly magnificent move by Triple H and company there. But I don't know where Cody Rhodes goes from here. I don't know where he goes. We could run back WrestleMania again and go Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, but like we have the Saudi show, and then we have the Saturday night's main event. I mean, I don't know what we're doing here, honestly. But to me, it just feels like this tag team match doesn't have any stakes to it. It's just like, hey, these are 4 people doing a match in a ring because they're popular. Okay, cool. And that's it. Like there's nothing that could come out of this, at least in my opinion. Like I don't know about you, but I don't know where this goes from here. If there is one. Like I don't know, maybe Roman Reigns could factor in, I guess. I don't know. It's just weird to me.
I think the title, honestly, because they don't really have like an up and coming guy that you can sort of put against Cody. You know? Like you have Roman, yeah, but the bloodline is dead. Like there's really no one else in SmackDown who can be like a big heel to go up against Cody, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Randy. Maybe you get Randy. Get Randy back in there. Maybe Randy wins the title. But
Drew McIntyre is like further down. Like he's trying to climb himself back up.
I think Drew is honestly next. I think he's obviously, even as a heel, he's really over. And I think he's probably next in terms of getting a shot at the title. I think it's Drew McIntyre. I think what happens is you give it back to Cody. Cody wins it, and then you have whoever wins Money in the Bank go after him, but doesn't succeed. And I think maybe Drew McIntyre wins Survivor Series, and then he goes after Cody as a heel. So,
yeah, that makes sense. Well, I don't know. It could happen, but who knows with this godforsaken company. But I don't have any questions. I think this is sensible, and this is probably again. I'm conceding this week. I am conceding, but if they at least give me something about R-Truth, I would be happy. So there you go. So that's it, I suppose, for our bookings and predictions for the next episode of Smackdown. And as stated before, we are going to calculate our points and do all that good stuff after watching it. And we are going to announce our points on the next episode of probably next week on SmackDown. But until then, thank you so much for ordering a blue cheese pizza called Probably Next Week on SmackDown from Grapperinos. And remember, if you're down for some quality, fresh, oven-baked, crispy wrestling content, then stop on by Grapperinos and order yourself some content you can grapple with. See you soon, Grapperinos. And what's up? What's up?